This morning in the Atlanta airport, no one's missing a meal on Mac Wilburn's watch. With 11 restaurants to serve passengers, he's got dining for every destination. And it all started when Mac talked with First Horizon Bank about opening a franchise in the airport. Now it's open for business and cleared for takeoff. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Mac. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
It's been a heck of a year in the marketing world. But honestly, we're heading to the holidays. Enough of the boring stuff. Let's talk the fun stuff. Today, we talked to Ben Carter of Talero Tequila. And before you ask the question, yes, the answer was drinking. Before you ask the question, the answer is yes, we were drinking while we did this episode. All that and more today on the Marketing Mad Men podcast.
They say marketing is a madman's game. So now we turned it over to the Marketing Mad Men with Nick Constantino and Trip Jobe.
Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Marketing Mad Men. Trip Jobe and Nick Constantino here, live from the Battery. And,
live from the Battery with tequila. So you know it's going to be a good episode.
I know. It's that time again. You know, I'm a little worried, though. When I came in, I did see some of the city's finest in the parking deck. So
you're over 21, right?
I'm over.
Oh,
well,
so
that I'm fine. I just got to be
okay.
careful. I mean,
okay.
we got there's a big bottle Ben brought. It's staring at us. So we've got as a guest today. We've got Ben Carter of Talero Tequila. I met Ben. That was about 3 months ago, I think.
Yes,
you were actually. We were over at the Buckhead Club, and you were doing a little business and promoting, and so we got to kind of talking and thought this would be a great local story. And I mean, it's always good to talk little spirits and different ways to market and how we can use that with some of our listeners.
And look, and Ben's got a whole bunch of diverse experiences also behind it, different countries, different cities, radio. So I think this will be a fun conversation. And I think, like we usually do, let's start at the beginning. So let's do the freeway version of how you got from there to here and cover everything.
So we were approached. I was approached in 2014. I was working and living in Mexico City, doing radio consulting.
Freaking love Mexico City.
Yeah.
We'll cover that.
That's a great city.
We got to talk street tacos, quinceañera and Pujol at least.
Yeah.
At least we got to talk those things.
Great museums too.
Yeah,
awesome. great sidewalk cafes. But I was approached and on LinkedIn of all places, and they're saying that this Talero Organic Tequila was about to be discontinued. And would you be interested in resuscitating the brand?
Okay.
And so the guys I work with, and the co-owners, KJ with Coda Subtle, and they approached me on LinkedIn, and they were like, "You're fluent in Spanish, and you've been down here in Mexico. Would you want to join with us to resuscitate this brand?" And reason why, because when they came out with this, it was first developed by Diageo, and when they came out, they were charging $90 a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And tequila at the time,
Diageo had a huge tequila platform. I know El Jimador is where it starts, but right, isn't Don Julio? They have a bunch of brands in it. So
right, but they chose to take it over to a craft distillery called Productos Agave de Finos, which started Casamigos, Avion, and Clase Azul.
Okay, but those are Casa Azul is very expensive, but the other ones, you're talking the mid tier. You're not talking ultra high tier. So they probably made a mistake with pricing. Going in at $90, you got to establish yourself and have a value problem. I mean, Casa Azul has the bottle, and that's the selling point, and people. But you got to have a value proposition.
Ding the bell.
Yeah.
All you're doing is paying for that.
Yeah,
you're paying in the artisan framework of the bottling. But also, the powerful thing about it is that they thought there was going to be like the Whole Foods concept. Remember when you go into Whole Foods, you pay like $9 for a sandwich, organic sandwich, but that didn't fly off because people had in their mind at the time tequila was only for margaritas.
Yeah.
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it wasn't like bourbon. It wasn't like, you're sipping.
There you go.
And even when the big trend came out and Patron was the start of it all, they were still shooting it. They still were they weren't putting it on an ice cube. They couldn't tell you what a Reposado was or a Añejo was. It was not that world yet.
But last night I was with friends and they're like, "No, I lost it at a Buffett concert, years ago. I don't do tequila anymore." I've got more friends who say I don't do tequila anymore because of honestly bad tequila. and a bad experience, typically at a party or whatever.
Let me tell you the problem with tequila. The problem with tequila is that I like tequila in an ice cube like I drink whiskey. Even if it's clear and it doesn't matter. The problem is that it is so easy to drink. Like bourbon is viscous. It feels thick in your mouth. So when you sip it, it takes a second. I drink too much tequila and I'm hammered almost immediately because it is so easy to drink. And there's lots of reasons. Of course. It's the healthiest for you. It gives you the most energy, the upper, all that stuff. But you don't realize that until you really drink good tequila as to what it is. So
that's my commercial right there.
There you go. You wrote it down.
Well, my college roommate has a place in Mexico, so he's got me. The last 5 years, he's kind of got me on. He brings it back all the time from down there.
But the story is obviously way more complicated than that. Blue agave is not easy. 12 years, dozen years to harvest.
7 to 12 years.
The conversation, and unfortunately in this country, Cuervo did a really bad job of using garbage tequila as the one that everyone knows, which does make you sick.
Yes.
So until people started getting into the agave tequilas and maybe a margarita, it was not clear what tequila even was.
Oh, I agree. And then also we do it at 7,200 square feet above sea level. So you have two types of agave: the highlands and the lowlands. Lowlands, of course, is the more of a brown agave, and then you get the highlands is 7,200 square feet or a mile high above. It starts that blue agave, and the blue agave gives that clean, pure, simple taste that goes down easy.
But over harvested, and then Jalisco, you have to be from one region to be. Right. And to be clear, if I remember this, tequila is a mezcal, but mezcal is not a tequila.
There you
Correct?
go.
Okay.
Right.
There you go. See, I kind of know my stuff.
And there's the 5 states of tequila.
Okay, go.
Guadalajara, Jalisco, Oaxaca, Durango, and what did I say? Durango.
And those are all places.
I thought it was buzzed. That was the first one. They were
pass out,
buzzed, drunk, exhilarated, on the edge, and passed out. Those are the 5 states.
You can come back from passed out. I've been passed out. I've gone. You can regress also. I've done that many a time.
Well, they say usually that with tequila, you either fighting or fornicating.
Yeah. Yes. You try to do one before the other. You try to fornicate. That doesn't work, so you're fighting.
So let's come back. So you were approached, all right, by a brand that was about to go under.
Yes.
And so then what's going through your mind?
I want to taste it.
Okay.
Because if there's a reason for you to discontinue it, there's got to be a reason.
All the infrastructure was built.
It was always built.
The supplies were done. You were ready to go.
Right. But I tasted it, and I was like, this is the tequila I had when I was in grad school at Mexico City.
Okay.
I got a fellowship to study at the Universidad de Iberoamericana to study the effects of NAFTA in 1997, and we had a tradition of sipping tequila before every exam.
Smart.
You know why?
Keep your nerves loose.
Keep going. And tequila's a stimulant. It's not a depressant. And I ended up getting a 4.0 that year.
There you go.
Wow. So I tasted it, and I was like, this is the tequila I had, and I was like, I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's an important point, because that's one of the things that the authenticity of Mexican, like, it's perceived differently here, right? They don't drink Corona in Mexico. Like, they drink Victoria, they drink some of the other brands, but they don't drink Corona. You have, like, El Jimador is the #1 tequila in Mexico. It's like scoffed out here. El Jimador is not bad tequila.
Right.
For what it's worth, it's still blue agave. So I think that, and my Mexico City story, I was there 10 minutes at most, and I was at a dive bar with farm-made mezcal and guacamole with grasshoppers.
Yes.
And I was like, I've made it. This is all I wanted, was to be in that authenticity. And it's a city that rewards you to embrace the authentic.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. But I was in the Buckhead part of Mexico City.
Oh, that's where Quintanilla is. What's that area called? La Romana, maybe?
It's Colonia Condesa.
Okay.
Or Roma.
Roma, that's what it is. And that's where Pujol and Quintanilla were, which is a whole other world. So Trip, these were 2 of the top 10 restaurants in the entire world.
So you drink
we used
tequila.
to stay down there when
Mexico City?
Yeah. Because then we'd go out till we had a tape and abrasives customer, Fandelli, down there, and of course it was about a hour drive into out to their factory. But but we stayed in there.
That's not a fun place to drive.
No. Well, and we had a driver, of course, out there, because it was armed guards at their facility.
It's three New Yorks. A lot of people don't understand. It's 3 New Yorks in one city.
It's so densely popular.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So
basically, I was sipping my tequila with my pinky out.
Okay. Classy.
Yes.
Exuding class like you have to.
So we got there.
Did you sip the añejo? What were you sipping?
No, just the Blanco.
Yeah.
Blanco is 100% organic. So the reason why we're organic is that we don't use any pesticides, no chemicals, no sugars, no toxins, which makes it no additives. So which makes to you no headache, no hangover automatically.
Right.
So I was like, this is it. So to get it stateside, of course, it took about 18 months. And then we officially launched here in Atlanta, Georgia on January 1st, 2016.
So Diageo had gone through all the R&D, had everything set up, that they hadn't even brought it up. They haven't even imported it yet.
No.
Wow. So they did all the legwork for you.
Exactly.
And then you took it over on the back end. And now, don't get me wrong, the 18 months of legal and bringing it over here is not easy, but they had already had the supply, which is not easy to and they secured multiple years of the agave and sourced all of it, right? You have to.
Exactly. But the what you call it wasn't ready, though. The añejo and the reposado wasn't ready.
Okay.
Because you had to put it into the barrels
more
to
time,
get age it.
right?
And then also, so that's why we came out with the Blanco. In fact, the organic añejo and reposado is just now ready. So we're debuting it for the holidays.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's so what happened though? We launched it here, Atlanta, at downtown, right down the street from CNN Center.
Okay.
And at a place called Studio Number 7, and we just took off ever since. We were named Tequila of the Year in China, of all places. Yes, of all places.
Okay.
We had people. The China Wine and Spirits Awards gave us a call. They were like, do you want to submit? And I was like, why not?
Yeah.
We submitted it, and they put us up, and we actually beat the Reposados and the Añejos. And they named us the Tequila of the Year in 2017 and 2018.
How much tequila they import to China?
China is now number 5.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Number 1 is U.S., of course. 2 is Mexico. 3 is, surprisingly,
Brazil?
Germany.
Germany. Wow, okay.
Germans love tequila. And then number 4 is France.
Okay.
Interesting. Those are not where I would have picked. I would have thought Argentina. I would have thought
Brazil. Brazil part of it because of the size, obviously, population and all. But
there was a large German influence in Mexico.
Yeah.
And in history.
Yes.
That's why the Tejano, they have the Zydeco, what's it called? I'm going to lose my mind. The Tejano, the music, the Zydeco music, with the music is a lot of German influence.
Okay.
In the Porfiriato. And German, that's why they also have
you got like the accordion and stuff
accordion,
like that?
Yeah, the Urba, yes.
I got it. I put it together. Don't worry.
So I have a lot of experience with some of that. The Oompa bands, but
But it's great German music, but I love that old Mexican music.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's looks a little ridiculous. Everyone's a ranchero coming out and in a mariachi. But if you listen to that old, and they do it, one of the things I loved about Mexico City, and I'm a New Yorker, nobody dances in the streets in New York.
No.
Mexico City, everyone's dancing. It's Saturday afternoon. Dancing through the streets.
We're going to be dancing because we're sipping. And when we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more. But Ben, we're talking a little bit about Talero Tequila, and you are listening to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3, and we will be right back.
A lifetime of hard work, children laughing in the kitchen, family photos on a restaurant wall, a legacy that lives on. It all comes from the power of a conversation, like the one Tommy Hall had with First Horizon Bank about taking over his father's Charleston-based restaurant business. Now the table is set for a whole new generation. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Tommy. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
Now back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3 FM.
Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen. Trip Job and Nick Constantino here with our guest today, Ben Carter of Talero Tequila. And we were talking a little bit about, obviously, Talero, but, we didn't get too much into your background, your experience. So you made the decision, obviously, to jump in, but what took you there? Well, let's talk a little bit about your background and your experiences and lessons that helped you make that jump.
I was in radio and TV for 20 years. I started out as an intern at first at CNN Radio, and we used to be called Love 104.7, and it's called Kiss 104.7. And then
was that when the Dickies owned it?
Yes, that's
right. David's here. David was pretty much we got to go see David then. That's great.
Small world. Yeah, I was actually in high school, and I was actually there. I was with a young guy who was at Dunwoody High School. I was at Paideia. And he was kind of chubby and a little short, and he had glasses, but he was a workhorse, and he turned out it was Ryan Seacrest.
Seacrest, yeah, I knew that's where you're going.
So small world, but then my next stop was I was in radio. I was an intern for at 640 WGST here, and that was with Sean Hannity, the Kimmer, and Ralph and Ben Hill and Dennis O'Hare. And then I went to work up in D.C. at WHUR and WHBC, and then of course, then went down to grad school. I went to Howard University in D.C.
Another place that looks a lot different nowadays up in Shaw.
Keep going.
I went to D.C. for a little while. Shaw looks a little bit different now.
And then I did my grad fellowship in Mexico at the Universidad Iberoamericana, and I studied effects of NAFTA.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about that, I learned I met with Carlos Slim.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they deregulate because I studied telecommunications and government, and what I learned was that during that time, 95% of the tequila companies were Mexican-owned.
Okay.
5%. It was only Patron, which was owned by Paul Mitchell, the hairdresser.
Yep.
Cabo Wabo.
Yep.
Hager.
Yep.
And then that was basically it. And then
by design or just by coincidence?
Just by
happened to be. Okay.
Because NAFTA,
Right. Got it.
then after NAFTA, 85% is now tequila is now 4-0.
Probably a lot of it was bought out by America. They didn't go down and start the company. They just bought the companies. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier than trying to build something on your own.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. So
Exactly.
you have a wealth of experience from different places. I always tell people radio is a great fundamental learning in marketing because
Agree.
you got to write your own commercials. You're in the fire. You see
Agree.
all types and sizes of businesses.
Agree.
I think as far as learning how to market, I think radio is the best introductory medium just because you're thrown in the thick of it.
I agree.
You have to do events. You have to be community. You have to do everything. So
because I was in 8 cities in 3 different countries.
It's amazing.
So
And I have to imagine
because I was in New York at BLS and High 97.
There you go.
Yep. And
Fun
then
flex, baby.
Down here at High 97 here at Radio 1 Atlanta. Then I was a national sales manager at Radio 1 Houston. Then I ran radio stations in Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
Oh, man, you've been everywhere.
And then I went to Clear Channel Chicago, was a manager. And then I went to Toronto, Canada, worked with Astral Media, which was the Clear Channel of Canada.
So you've seen it all. So
Yes.
what were some of the things that you learned about marketing early in the career? Because obviously we're going to come full circle on how you marketed the tequila. But like, tell me some of those early experiences of just radio and seeing what it's like. I mean, you were in 3 continents. I mean, you were in 3 countries. I mean, it's got to be crazy.
Yeah, but the whole thing about it is that you learn that, one, no one buys you for your features. They buy you for your benefits. That's the thing. What's the benefit that I have?
Marketing 101.
Exactly.
Right?
That is the marketing. So because after reason why I was in Canada is because I joined a company called out of Australia called New Revenue Solutions, and where we did marketing presentations on marketing and branding for local businesses.
Interesting.
In a market. So I'll give you a 30-minute presentation on showing you the ways of using radio effectively, efficiently, and affordably.
Yep.
And TV. So the whole thing was to take the principles of marketing, as you said before. No one buys you for your features. You know, if I say I have a tequila, that's a feature. The benefit is what?
The benefit is that you're going to not be depressed, and you're not going to wake up with a hangover.
There you go.
That's the 2 things from Talero.
I'm health conscious. I like to go out. I like to look fashionable with what I drink. Those are the benefits. That's
right.
And the features are I have to have organic tequila that checks those boxes.
Because organic is just a feature.
Yeah.
Because but organic, as you said before, when you're organic, you know that you slap organic on anything, but anything that comes out of the ground is organic. But if you say you don't want to have a headache or a hangover, or if you're diabetic, this is you can drink this.
Right.
So that propelled me into doing this because in radio you're basically selling air.
Yeah.
Right? You're selling a concept.
Yep.
Advertising is just simply an invitation to your product. This is I can touch, taste, and feel. So I started out as in production, then went to sales. Sales, as you said before, it's hard to gauge your basically you can gauge your successful campaign on what?
Yep.
Case sales.
Yep.
Or how many people come to your club, right?
As long as those KPIs are determined in advance and the client is telling them to you and you mutually agree upon them, then yes, you can always gauge the success of the campaign. The problem is, one, a lot of salespeople don't have those conversations because they're afraid to fail.
Keep going.
And then two, the clients don't understand what their real KPIs are. So my favorite one is the old radio, no one called. I go, well, stupid, you didn't give a phone number. So I wonder why nobody called, because you didn't give a phone number.
Well, I mean,
so,
that's the one. Well, that's the one call that you get that you dread making, is that, hey, how, I want to re-up. I'm gonna come by and pick up the check, and they're like, well, no one's been buying us, and I'm like, well, maybe it's because of your message.
Yep.
As you said before, you have to express, the benefits of doing business with you. What will make me say wow about your product?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's interesting, though. So you've got a product, though, where some of the benefits are latent benefits. They're not immediate benefits, i.e., you're not going to get a hangover. All right? The stimulant part may be a little more immediate. So how do you get people that understand, wait a second, yeah, you're telling me I'm not going to get a hangover, but I won't know for certain until tomorrow.
Well, my thing is that, I base it on two models. One, there was a NPR series called How I Built This. And I took Tito's Vodka.
Yep.
The guy who founded Tito's Vodka, he explained that because vodka is an extremely crowded place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? He took it to his to the fairs, to the events. He was saying, I'm American made, because vodka was Russian, Poland, France.
Yep, and we've had one of their probably top 20 employees on to tell this story. So this is topical.
Yeah, exactly. So I took that model, and I said, because if I just simply put my name out there and said Talero Organic Tequila, it was still got the dust.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, well, whatever. But when I started doing events, doing golf tournaments, doing, concerts, and having people come up and taste it, and then also I mixed it with organic juices. So because people, would say, hey, I can't do tequila today because it's a Tuesday. I got work tomorrow, or I got to drive home. And I'm like, no. If you're not supposed to shoot it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have been trained that you shoot it.
You're certainly not supposed to shoot a $45 bottle of it. I mean, there's some tequila you have to shoot. Let's just call it what it is.
But as you say before, you automatically get that benefit by tasting it.
Yeah.
As I said, that was the beauty. I was like, I could sell this, because I sold dead air and concepts, and was able to make millions, for companies, doing that. Now I got something you could touch, taste, and feel, and automatically give you a great taste. And people were able to say, hey, I like this. I'm going to make this my own.
Well, I agree with Nick. It's cold, it's smooth, and if we're not careful, we could drink a lot of it. So
And I wonder. So we talk about the crowded marketplace. So let's just give some scale. I mean, guesstimate on the shelves of a liquor store, 30, 50 top shelf, and probably another 100 bottom shelf tequilas at a big store.
I would
there's lots of them.
At the top stores, they probably have about 100 tequilas.
Yeah, 100 tequilas from across the board and different price points, and everyone's trying to grab your attention with the similar things. Tito's thing, ironically, was gluten-free. All vodka is gluten-free. They just rolled with it because the trend was there.
And it was American made.
It was American made, which no one would have ever thought if you asked 20 years ago Texas would be known for vodka. It's just impossible. Now there's Texas vodka, there's multiple brands. So to stand out in a crowded marketplace, so you said it, first automatically, organic.
Yes.
You're showing your value propositions. You still got to grab their eye with the bottle. It's still got to be something that cuts through the clutter. How do we do that?
That's why I'm glad you brought that up, because Talero means tall one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that explains. Or you see a lot of tequila that's
in
short.
the squad bottles. Yeah. So they were in the squad bottle. So when it was introduced in 2014, it had a tall look. So it took up less space. It was easy to pour.
It reminds people, if you're just not looking at what it is, vodka or gin, right?
Right. And so, and that's also, too, we did bartender competitions. We did cocktail competitions. So, to ingratiate ourselves with the
I can see the bartender spinning the bottles a little bit. You can't do it with a squad bottle.
Cocktail.
Yep.
How are we doing trend-wise? So I know tequila is on the uptrend. I know mezcal has caught on to fulfill some of the things with bourbons and stuff like that. But trend-wise, tequila's on the way up. How much rise do you think you can have? What do you think the next couple of years look like for tequila?
Well, that's the thing about it, too, is that tequila is now number 2.
Wow.
In the world.
Wow.
Yes. So, and the reason why was because of COVID. That was one of the mixed blessings of COVID. Because people were like, I'm not going anywhere.
You can buy the good stuff because they realize how much you get overcharged at a store. Yeah. 2 margaritas are $36. You can buy your own whole bottle for that much.
Right. And so they were like, I'm not going anywhere, so let me just try this out. So then they started going, boom, 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 because I used my radio background. I paired with DJs on this on the Twitch channel.
Yep.
Which is co-owned by Amazon. But we started doing Twitch parties and DJ parties. So like Friday nights, Saturday nights.
Love it, dude.
Every time. So order your bottle of Talero. They'll show it on a Zoom.
They had a lot of artists singing, doing the Zoom.
I mean, Zoom remember with
parties.
Rich Dollar? So we had one of Bad Boy's first marketing people, and he was talking about it was when Puffy came out and he was doing his tequila, and that's all he would do. They would get in the DJ's hands at the clubs, and it would spread like wildfire.
Exactly.
Because he would get it in their hands. So Ciroc. So I mean, again, what's
and
old
Ciroc, and Ciroc was about to be discontinued.
Yep.
He basically took it over and discontinued your product. Well, my thing was that I had my connections with the DJs that I worked with in all these cities.
Who were the original influencers before we get into this TikTok and all this stuff? Those guys were having peddling influence for decades before this became a trendy thing.
So I had DJ Salah, DJ Shakim, DJ JC. So I had guys from V103 here in Atlanta. Yep. I had guys at Hot 97 in New York. Yep. Had got my guys in Houston at the Box 97.9. And that's also too. That was another thing. They lessened the restrictions for alcohol delivery.
Oh yeah, right. Yep. Drizzly when they were in that thing. Yep.
So because before when I was with Drizzly, they only could deliver to at the most 15 states.
Okay.
Then when the COVID pandemic happened, it became 44 states. So you can go to TaleroTequila.com, hit the buy now button. We deliver to you in 44 states.
Good. So the retailers are less important because, like a state like Georgia, it's so segmented. It's all over the place. You can only own 2. It's all over the place.
But that's actually a great blessing, though,
because you don't have the leverage because you're getting one guy that's just buying the biggest brands that are paying them under the table. So you have independent where the relationship matters.
Right. So shout out to Camp Creek World of Beverages, which is the second largest retailer of liquor in the state. I started with them in January 1st, 2016, and they've been with them ever since. So if you're on the south side, right by the airport, Camp Creek World of Beverages, they have us featured right there.
And that's a great point.
Yeah, and I've been in a lot of markets where we call it specification sales. Mm-hmm. All right, so it sounds like you're able to get people who are truly then helping you push it through the market, right? And distributors in that way versus being mass.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, I mean, also too, if you would leave it up to your distributor.
They're going to sell the most. They're going to sell what makes them the most money, the easiest way that they can get the most buybacks, and who's offering the salespeople the best incentives, because that's how you sell.
I mean, that's how you know with radio.
Yeah.
If you're at V103, hey, all I'm doing is order taking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it's funny you say that.
$90 when you first got involved and they were kind of mispriced it.
So
where are we today?
So when we debuted, it was $29.99 a bottle.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, make it because no one's going to buy try out tequila for $90.
No.
Yeah.
So Camp Creek World of Beverages, they were like, put it at $29.99.
Which is tough too because you can't put the value proposition too low because then it's not the luxury item that you want it to be perceived as. So that's a fine dance.
Well, we always want to say we want to be 10 to 15% of where 1800 Don Julio and Casamigos is.
Okay.
So
above or below them.
Within.
Okay.
Yeah,
because those go on promo.
So
those go on promo a lot.
So today the silver goes for roughly.
So here in the state of Georgia, you can. I can give you 2 places where you can still get it at $29.99.
Okay.
Mableton Bottle Shop or Kilroy's on Old National.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now that's a value proposition because let's talk about what it is. I mean, you're talking. The perception in my head is that at least $40, $45 for a good bottle.
Yeah. So if you go online, it's $45.
Okay.
Right.
So here in the state of Georgia, though, it's usually at Total Wine and More, it's $38.99.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when we debut the Reposado, it's going to be at $45, and then the Añejo is going to be at $55. We're not going to try to break you over the head.
Yeah.
Cool. Our whole thing is that you want to have it to where you're at there's also a mental shopping list. Let's be real. And marketing is a mental shopping list. Yep. When people go into a liquor store, they already know what they want to buy. Yeah. Right? So our whole thing is that we want to get on that top 5 of that mental shopping list because there are certain people that no matter what, you can give them they'll say, I want my either Hennessy or I want my Patron or I want my,
And those people are responsible for probably the majority of liquor sales. Those are the drinkers that are the most, they're responsible for most of it.
But then that's when I say, look, if I can get just have you just try it once, I can make you a fan. Man, our whole thing is converting the unconverted.
We've made a living of that in Georgia. Our tailgates and the events we do, because you can't sample in the state. So the only way you can sample the right way, ours are private parties that we set up with ticketed events that we've skated a lot of the rules of how you could sample, which have
Total Wine and More you can now sample.
They have a separate store on the side that has a different business permit.
They have a sampling room in the back at Alpharetta. Shout out to the one on Barrett Parkway. But you can literally now, that's also what they're loosening up too. Shout out to Brian Kemp. I give it up to him.
Yeah.
Even
he listens to people. No matter what you say about him, he listens to the people.
He's good for business.
And the rules are stupid. I mean, I know that Grapes and Grains has to have a different liquor license for something upstairs just to be allowed to sample. Like, you can con the system. Like, what are you doing? So you can get 2 fees for the business license? Yeah. Is it really worth $86?
Well, there's also, how many breweries here now in Atlanta?
Yeah.
How many?
And they can sell. They loosen those restrictions up.
Right. Yeah, and there's now distilleries, making vodka and whiskey now here in Georgia.
Yeah, they were not for a long time. One of my favorite things about tequila as a whole is it is one of the more versatile spirits. So you can drink it on the rocks, you can mix it, you can go into the bourbon territory because it's got enough flavor on its own. As to where vodka is a very neutral spirit, there's not much you're doing. You can mix it with anything, but it's not going to take on a Manhattan or those flavors. Tequila can do that, I believe.
Our whole thing is also pairing with cigars.
Okay.
Because cigars are taking off too here in the state of Georgia too, and because there's I don't know how many cigar lounges are popping up over the place.
Yep.
And so we want to you say sip tequila, smoke your stogie, your stick, and then also one more important thing too is you have to be made in Mexico to be called tequila.
Yep.
Right. Well, the other one, and you talked about Tito's. I think Tito's did a great job of creating some craft cocktails. All right.
I agree.
And I think that tequila, one of my perceptions, all right, is people know the mass cocktails, the margaritas, right?
But the margaritas though are stacked with sugar.
Well, exactly.
Depends
But to think about your benefits and
Cointreau,
to think about
lemon, and an orange. Cointreau, lemon, lime, and an orange.
What are you doing, or what have you done with the bartenders and mixologists to create craft cocktails,
right?
Like Tito's has done.
Yeah, Palomas are always great, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything with grapefruit juice, but my whole thing is taking organic juices, and basically, I give my Coca-Cola formula, simply lemonade.
Yeah.
They got all those flavors. It's all organic juices, and it's only $2. Mix it with a Simply Lemonade. You can go to Kroger, Target, whatever, Walmart. Blueberry. I'm making right now blueberry lemonade tequila.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes well though. I did a Spindrift lemon and lime, just a really good citrusy seltzer.
Yeah.
With it is delicious.
Yeah.
And you don't need sugar. It pisses me off when people do it.
No.
I get some Cointreau. I get a little bit, not even triple sec because that's cheap. Some Cointreau, an orange, and a lime, and you shake that up in a margarita. That is some delicious stuff.
I mean,
I do like the Tijan rim though. That's pretty good.
Also, Talero and Sprite.
Yeah.
So it goes well. Okay. Also, I'm doing also a pineapple peach tequila.
Okay.
Yeah. Peach always brings it out because it brings out the blue agave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything peach or citrusy.
Yeah. Just a subtle sweetness. I think so. Let's talk about the marketing now. So obviously, the one thing about radio that people don't talk about, it was a street medium. You were reaching people on the streets in their communities.
That's
I'm
the
sure
only way you can do it.
that has helped, right? You're not running $1 million advertising campaigns. We don't have that stuff. So talk about the ground game. Talk about that street marketing.
Yeah, because I'm going against multi-billion-dollar companies who have been in business for 150 years.
Their sales are down. They just throw another $1 million into advertising. It's really that simple.
Or they sponsor ESPN networks.
Yeah.
Casamigos. Casamigos got, which was our distillery partner. They got bought for $1 billion in 2019, right before the COVID.
Well, they had Clooney on a motocycle, so obviously they're selling the crap out of it.
But a lot of people don't know is that they really only sold worldwide 100,000 cases.
Wow.
100,000 total cases.
That's it.
There are people that do 100,000 cases with their eyes closed in Georgia alone.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
And they got bought for $1 billion.
Wow. So that's how valuable the brand itself was, the celebrity spokespeople. I'm sure Aviation Gin with Ryan Reynolds was a similar thing. They weren't selling that much. You don't see it everywhere.
Keep going.
Yeah, they bought it. Yeah. So how do you compete against that? What advice would you give to people?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I use my radio. Because radio, you're a born hustler.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah, you're in the streets. And so, as you say, I do 3 or 4 events a week just alone here in Atlanta. and where it's just simply we're tasting, we're vending, we're selling, and we're doing golf tournaments. I do 2 to 3 golf tournaments a month.
Usually in kind, they just want product.
Well, we also do canopy tents.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, this week we're doing one at the Russell Center on Friday, and then I'm in Brooklyn on Sunday for the Sip Wine Fashion show in Brooklyn, New York.
I saw that on the web. So what is your social media presence like behind that? Because a lot of that is
Yeah,
about
that's
the
also
FOMO, right?
yes.
Like, hey, who wasn't there?
Yes.
You're missing out on these beautiful people. Don't you want to be a part of this? So how do you guys use social media?
Well,
to your
we
advantage?
use it kind of aggressively, but we have about 15,000 Instagram followers, 5,000 Facebook followers. But we say it's about way you taste. The reason why I want you to come to my events is because you can taste Talero in different flavors.
Right.
Because, as I said before, if I just came out here and it said, this is organic Blanco, organic Añejo, organic Reposado, okay, boom. But if I say I got pineapple peach tequila, woo, I got watermelon tequila, woo, people go, oh my God, I never tried this. This tastes so good. And then, next thing I say, we convert the unconverted.
Right.
My greatest joy is getting a person who says, I had a bad experience with tequila. I ended up, face down I woke up with a girl that, that
I thought you said bad experiences. There's no bad experience.
But then I'm like, or I got, but my whole thing was like, try this, and they're like, oh, I can do this, and the next thing you know, they bought a bottle, and next thing you know, and with some juice, and they went through a whole bottle, and they're like, I didn't, I can go to work the next day.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's awesome. So who's the target audience and who is the audience? I'm sure you have some data on who's buying it, age. Do you know that stuff doesn't matter?
Well, you know what? Let's hold that. When we come back from the break, I want to dive into that, and I think that's a great way of segmenting into how do you get this out in the marketplace?
Oh, yeah.
So
I was too busy drinking while Trip was waving me down. That was
I
segment's
know
over.
it's hey, it's a focus, right? So
Got the heart out.
Yeah. Well, we're listening to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3 with Talero Tequila, and we will be right back.
This morning in the Atlanta airport, no one's missing a meal on Mac Wilburn's watch. With 11 restaurants to serve passengers, he's got dining for every destination. And it all started when Mac talked with First Horizon Bank about opening a franchise in the airport. Now it's open for business and cleared for takeoff. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Mac. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
Now back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3 FM.
Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen. Trip Job and Nick Constantino here with Ben Carter from Talero Tequila. And good stuff. And we were talking a little bit right before we went to the break about, how do you target? How do you know where, you're converting the unconverted? It's sunk in now.
Yes.
All right. So how do you
In
know?
Espanol, it's el nombre el padre del
Yeah.
Hijo
Oh,
del
you're
Santo.
just praying. You're just praying.
Yeah. So
Salud.
Yeah. So how do you go about
Arriba, abajo,
targeting?
el centro, adentro.
Exactly. Oh no, but we okay. Well, first of all, also during COVID, we're 100% black owned tequila. We're the only one in the world organic 100% black owned tequila. So there was a push for black owned spirits also.
Okay.
So as you said before, the African American population of the United States has saved Ciroc.
Yep.
Casamigos is now the number one tequila for African Americans.
Man, you see Snoop's face on wine bottles. None of those things you would have ever thought would happen in a million years.
So when they found out we were 100% black owned, and our tagline was Mexican grown, black owned. Our whole thing was okay. Let's take that to a whole nother level, because organic wise, they thought that we were going to be suburban housewives.
Oh, okay.
At first, because
Which is how dumb and racist this country is. You see organic, and it's like, oh, it's got to be a woman in Milton.
Johns Creek.
Yeah, because
Shout out Sewanee.
I'm the opposite. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like it's
I'm
freaking
downtown
tequila.
Alpharetta, you know?
It's
Like it's on the green.
tequila. Does it need to be organic? The alcohol kills what's ever in it. Does it need to be organic? So like
Yes.
but it's a brand and it
the
works.
owner of a new spot who wants to be the club on the green. So if
There you go.
if you want, I'll
There
get
you
you
go.
connected.
By the way, can we just throw that out there? I am pissed off that we have not figured out how to have night golf with DJs playing in the city yet.
Oh,
You
yeah.
need a 9-hole course
Yes.
under the lights, and you need a DJ or a band playing with speakers at
We
everything.
did at a College Park golf course right
They
before
ought to-
COVID.
They ought to do it.
They
at,
do have lights under the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right,
They ought to
well, I know
do it
where
at
I'm
Bobby
going.
Jones. I mean, shoot, now they've turned that
I know.
into
I'm
a-
just
it's the
saying.
perfect spot
I'm
to do
just
it.
saying the demand for golf is so insane. Night
Yes.
golf this time of
agree.
year with a couple of drinks and one of those robots that follows you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember Bobby Jones. I got the robot that followed you, and I asked for a tray to put it out, and I put my drink on it, and it followed me like a bartender. It was awesome.
Yeah.
What the
All
hell
right,
were we
well,
talking about? All right, anyway.
We obviously been drinking. So we're talking about it's not
Audience,
the
audience.
North Fulton Housewives. So that's not your.
Well, actually,
I mean, it's part of your audience.
Actually,
but-
I have a partnership with the Alpharetta Housewives.
Okay.
Shout out to them.
There you go.
Yeah, but anyway, our whole thing was taking that, and also one of our greatest supporters was the authentic Mexican, because I struck a deal with the Consulado de Mexico here off of the Beaver Highway.
Okay.
It's because, as you said before, Mexicans, they were like, that's the stuff we grew up on. This is our real authentic.
It's authentic,
tequila. And you know, it does help that I do speak, you know,
Yes.
fluent Spanish. So, and then depends on what day you catch me. I do look Cuban, Dominican, or
There you go.
Yeah.
You got some Dominican. It looks like it for sure. My wife is Puerto Rican and Dominican. Was born in Puerto Rico, so
right. So
that I know.
helps. I live in the Dominican part of Harlem.
I'm lucky enough that I get to blend too when we go down anywhere.
Right.
They won't even speak Spanish to her. They're just going to me. And I understand enough to be dangerous
Yes.
because God knows I was on spring break in Cancun enough times. Somehow you got to sneak the girls back to your room.
you
You
gotta
got to be able to talk to somebody at some point.
You got that Desi Arnaz look.
There you go. I'll take that. I will take. That's the most flattering thing I've ever heard anyone tell me.
Because then they asked me, what are my favorite hip hop, songs and stuff like that. So that's why I'm here.
I blend. I blend.
Everybody's joke.
Trip joke.
I blend. All right. So let's.
No, so our demographics. Let me just
Yeah,
break
please.
it down quick. So basically, 21 plus.
Okay.
Because like I know radio like 18 to 49, 25 54.
Yeah, you gotta be segmented.
Yeah. No, 21 plus people who are looking for something to have their own. Because actually that speaks to Atlanta. Atlanta likes to have something that's their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a very recent phenomenon. They're a cultural center of a lot of the country now. So they want to have these things for themselves.
Right.
There's more of a push for these big companies to be headquartered here, to have this pride here that is coming out, and it's starting to spread past the boundaries of just the city. You're starting to take over the region and the country to some extent.
Right.
So you got to hit it hot with the right guy. But you catch one of these rappers, you catch one of these guys at the right time, young in their career as they're going outward, and the sky is the limit. You see it.
Well, that was also the thing too, is that we got with that's when you met me.
Yeah.
I was meeting with the movie companies.
Right.
And so our first introduction to the movie world was we were put in Superfly, the remake. They filmed it here in Atlanta. Guy with the director, he used to do music videos for a lot of the Atlanta. So I knew him from Lil X, Director X. And so if you watch Superfly, the new Superfly, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The new Superfly.
Tequila didn't even exist for the old Superfly. Not the way we know it today.
Right.
Yeah. It's a,
There's two pivotal scenes. One is one where they go down, they meet the Mexican cartel. The Mexican cartel boss is Isai Morales.
Okay.
Isai Morales tasted it. He's from Mexico and from Mexico City, and he goes, I love it. Give me 6 cases. And there's a video. I mean, there's a point in the movie where in the middle of the movie, he's watching a Mexican football game. That's soccer.
Yeah.
To you Americans.
Football.
Yeah.
Football. And he has his the waitress comes up and he goes, "Give me dame tequila," and it's Talero, and they like literally prominently display it. At the end of the movie, they're in Serbia, Montenegro, on a yacht, and he's talking to his man, and who's in Atlanta, and he goes, "All right, well, handle my business in Atlanta. I'm going to be on this yacht," and then they flash, and he's pouring out a bottle of Talero, and boom, it's a great 30-second spot.
Yeah.
Basically everybody came up to me. They were like, oh man, how'd you get that?
Yeah.
Well, so to that, and that's again, we were, I don't know, just next to each other, and you were having your business meeting, and I was having mine. That's kind of where we got caught up. So what advice does someone who does have a product and they're trying to get some type of product placement? It could be film, could be other things, but what's the one thing you would give them as an advice?
If you're in Atlanta, there's so many events every weekend. I mean, Atlanta is just like, you know, and they're looking to, you know, vend, do businesses. They want local businesses, support local businesses. So, I mean, as I say, I'm doing 3 or 4 events a week. You know,
but you got to be patient. You're not going to hit the gold mine on the first time. You got to show up, be there, put the work in, put the time in.
It's the number of shots. You got to keep doing it. You got to, you know, and you're going to clank a lot off the rim and the backboard, but you got to keep doing it.
We saw that people on the radio, right?
Yeah, same thing. I agree.
You know, what we did was like this. We'll make radio for you affordably, effectively, and efficiently. The way we do it, you buy 40 spots a month at $99, right? But you know why?
Repetition.
Yes.
Frequency.
Right. Yes.
I think you know the hardest balancing act for tequila, in my humble opinion, is you got to have street cred. You got to have the Mexicans, the authentic people that believe in it, but you also got to be outreach to get new people, and that's a very hard balancing act to make. You got to scream that authentic. Cazadores is an example of one. Drank like crazy in Mexico. That's how it worked here.
All right, so Ben, you got about 45 seconds. Tell us where listeners, if they want to find Talero, how can they find it, and anything else you want to?
I got you a special deal today. Okay. So if you go to TaleroTequila.com, you hit the buy now button, enter the promo code MADMEN, you'll get 15% off, and we'll deliver to you in 44 states.
When's the Rasposado on the Añejo going to be up?
That will be fourth quarter. So we're praying for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? As you say, we didn't even get into the food pairing, so I'm going to switch my entire drinking thing over for Thanksgiving now.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Can you do cranberry and tequila?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that brings out the agave.
Yeah. All right. I'm already getting some ideas. This is sounding good. Ben Carter, thanks so much.
Thanks,
great
Ben.
to have you on. And this is Talero's fantastic. And
Talero organic tequila, good tequila, should never taste bad.
Well, I'll work on starting to convert some more unconverted for you. So, all right, you've been listening to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3. We'll be back next week.
Salud.
Salud.